Hi guys and welcome back to Scribe Gaming. I'm your man Scribe and we are going to catch up with the first round of this week's GAC battles. We're up against a guy whose name I cannot pronounce. It's going to be a fun one. Let's do this. Alright, let's start off by just taking a look at the hot bot comparison here. That seems about right. Like I said, I'm going to call him I. Yep, he's from Panda's Alliance. Guild is pretty decent, I guess. Not like the 420 mil guild I'm in. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's got a bit of GP on me. 9 mil to 7.5 that I've got. Obviously, all these metrics over here. He blows me out of the water with 50 more Zetas, more or less. 4 more Omicrons as well. Amazing. I beat him on average speed, but that's probably just through virtue of the fact that he has a larger roster and it's harder for him to get average speeds. Okay, no, my modding is actually a little bit better than his. I've got more plus 25s. He's got a lot more 6-dot mods than me. But I suppose he's got more in the plus 15 range. I just have better high end on the speed, and that's about it by the looks of things. He has only got 1 Relic 9, but he has about nearly 200 more Relic levels in total compared to me. So I think he's got a little bit of an edge there. Just a smidgen of an edge. Okay. He obviously has all of the GLs sitting pretty over here. Yeah, it's all looking pretty standard right about now. Obviously, he doesn't have that Relic 9 JML. I would guess that he's got a Relic 9 Piet. And then here are all his Relic levels. Of course, he does have a triple Omicron R7 Malgus for me to deal with. Why wouldn't he? And obviously, Starkiller over there. Yeah, he's got Relic 9 down here on his Piet. Okay, so it's an interesting matchup. He definitely has a pretty big advantage here. But fingers crossed we can make something happen here. Alrighty, let's go over and let's start off the video that we did yesterday. So this was the board as I found it before attack phase yesterday. He had cleared everything apart from my fleet wall. Now in the northern section that on my defenses, he did drop a battle against my CLS, which had a 25% bonus TM at the start, which is quite nice. Oh, excuse me, I'm so boring. Down south, he did drop another battle against my Ray with Holdo. Now that had a fast alt Ray, which I think is quite decent for 3v3. Now he dropped 2 attempts on my Negotiator there, and he took 2 to take out my Executor. So at this point, I'm assuming his Executor, which is R9, is on defense, because otherwise he wouldn't have dropped the battle against my standard R8 Executor. That's my initial thoughts anyway. Now, I know I've got a little bit of wiggle room here, because he's dropped a couple of battles and he's not cleared fleet. Based on my defensive setup here, I never intend to clear fleet because I set a harder fleet defense that typically doesn't give me quite as much to clear his fleet. So I'm not relying on a full clear here. I'm relying on hopefully being more efficient on the ground. He's got a pretty tough north wall. We've got Bam, IG, and Queel here. We've got a Vader, Maul, Royal Guard. We've got that triple Omicron Malgus over there with DR and Basti, GG, and a ultimate Ray with Datacron. Yeah, that ultimate, I believe, is the one that gives her 5% additional health and protection for each relic level on the team, and makes her take 15% less damage overall. So it's a decent Omicron. I wouldn't call it the best Omicron. Now we're just checking out the Datacron here on the Malgus team. It doesn't particularly help them, but an extra bit of health and extra potency is always quite nice. Let's check out his south section then, shall we? Come on, me. Come on. I know you want to go check out the south. Oh, we're just checking out the raid Datacron very first. Okay, so yeah, bonus mechanic over there is the retaliation, which can be annoying. But actually, I figure in practice, it's not quite as good as it sounds on paper, from my experience. It never really seems to do that much damage. In reflection, I don't know if it's bugged. I don't know if it's not working as intended, but it never seems to quite do the same amount of damage as you think it would. So down in the south, he's got Mon Mothma, he's got a Starkiller team, he's got CLS of his own, he's got a Dash Hand Chewie, and he's got a Shaak Ti clones team. Now, looking at this, I'm looking at it and thinking there are no GLs here. I've got 2 GLs for offense, but if I can clear this south section without using a GL for myself, I may have a chance of still killing through the rest of his teams. So I'm going in with a standard counter to CLS, which is going to be using my JTR. Now, the Datacron on his CLS team here does mean he starts with damage immunity for 2 turns, and I think he's got the extra 25% TM. So I've gone for a Datacron that gives me that extra TM because I really want to make sure that I get out ahead of him. It's kind of important. So the key here, guys, is to land days on Chewbacca, on the Chewpio squad. As long as that happens, you're typically fine. And we don't land days. I'm like, it's all going to go downhill from here. Luckily, it did get rid of the damage immunity, of course. And, of course, he resisted the stun from R2-D2 there, even though he had Tenacity down. The second one landed, thankfully. And now I'm just looking to kill Chewpio as soon as possible. Right now, I feel like we're just going to straight up lose this match. Because, you know, losing BB-8 right out the gate there without having killed Chewpio or anything is pretty bad. But we're just going to power through. I just want to see, can I kill Chewpio to make a cleanup a bit easier? Try and bring the focus onto JTR. As a solo character, she's got incredible survivability because she's got all that evasion, she's got that recovery. I've got all the Zetas on her, so she's pretty strong in that respect. So if I can get rid of Chewpio, maybe we can still sort of pull it back. I go for the stun. Obviously, it doesn't land. It's a good job I didn't hide then because we kind of needed to spread the damage a bit. Fortunately, get the cleanse off in time here, and we take out Chewpio, which is lovely. And now we'll go back to just hiding JTR. Oh, keeping JTR out in the open. So, I probably should have gone for the stun there rather than the burn, but there we go. Let's see, can we land the days this time? Nope, but CLS does have all that additional tenacity when he is out of call to action. Of course, he resisted the stun again, and counterattacks, and all these attacks is kind of deadly. We get the stun this time, so I'm kind of hopeful that we can still pull this off. This is still a very dangerous position to be in, because, you know, all it takes is a couple of lucky hits, and we're all of a sudden find ourselves without any characters left. So I kept the smoke screen available there because I want to make sure that I use it later rather than sooner. But of course, that 2 stacks of confusion unfortunately puts us in a bad spot. He's obviously got some recovery there on his Datacron that I wasn't aware of, because he's recovering that health and protection. But we just about managed to get the kill. 60 banners is obviously not great, but the most important thing there is that we got a 1-tap. So I guess we should be happy for a 1-tap at the very least. I'm thinking that my next battle is probably going to be up against the Starkiller team, because that's a team that I know which counter I'm going to use, which in my instance is going to be a Maul Mando's team with Watt. It's by no means 100% reliable. It's just, as far as I'm concerned, in 3v3, it's probably the best value for money that I can get out of Maul. I don't particularly like to throw him in with Lord Vader. I don't think that's worthwhile at this point. So I like to use him to try and counter Starkiller teams in 3v3. Saves me having to use a GL. I put the tank tech out there because I really want to be cleansing the debuffs. And the idea is to focus down Palpatine at the start. Because if this goes sideways and you lose the team, you at least want to make sure that the second battle that you do has no leadership. So I like to focus down Palps here. Just completely get rid of him. We spread the damage here. We take a slap at Mara Jade just to put some damage into her. And then we'll go ahead and just make sure Palps doesn't take a turn. Get a nice clutch dodge there at Candy. And just go all send on Mara Jade. See, this is the good thing. They get the stun and it will just cleanse, which is nice. Obviously, Starkiller is pretty lethal. So we don't want to be messing around with him too much. If we can also take out Mara Jade, that just makes the cleanup that much easier. The days, obviously, that gets dispelled as well, which is lovely. Yeah, I think I just decided to go for the extra damage here. I care more about trying to kill Mara Jade than I do about trying to build up my stacks at the moment. I really shouldn't have done the triple tap here because he's obviously just going to counterattack. I should have probably just done the AoE. Look to try and recover a little bit, but no. Nothing quite in there for Canderous. At this point, I know that I'm definitely going to have to take another stab at this because, you know, there's no way I kill Starkiller without Canderous there. Even with the 5 stacks of Enrage, he's just too healthy. and we're just not doing nearly enough damage. You see, only about 20,000 damage there, 30,000 damage there. Yeah, so we nearly get him, and then he just, yeah, he brings the house down on us. So it's our first loss, but we have a little bit of wiggle room, so I'm still not completely upset. It's only Starkiller on his own, pretty straightforward to deal with just on his own. Next battle. For the next battle, I decided to take on the Dash Hand Chewie. Now, this was a dangerous team, and I really didn't want to mess around with it. There's so much DPS that goes off here, it can go wrong right out the gate. So I decided to go for a Jedi Knight Luke one with a Datacron that gives him all the bonus turns, and we nearly lost him in the opening salvo, so that was fortunate. But once we got our turns going, it was all downhill from there. You know, it's pretty easy to win at this point. You've got so much damage and a lot of recovery here with this team. So he got a lucky dodge there, Dash. but in the end, it turns out to be okay. Pretty banner efficient overall, I would say. And yeah, that's another team down, basically, that I was a little bit concerned about, and I have to hope that I don't need to use my JKL anywhere else later on today. Another call to assist. We recover the banners on Shaak Ti and Luke, so only end up dropping one banner on Old Ben. Definitely a victory there for me. So he's just got the Shaak Ti, the Starkiller, and the Mon Mothma teams left on this south section here. Now, I don't want to underestimate the Shaak Ti, but she's only 315 speed. We decided to go for an easy team now, the Mon Mothma with Kyle Katarn and Cara Dune. So I decided to take in Traya with Nihilus and Marauder. So Marauder is basically going to be gaining bonus TM whenever they attack out of turn, so I'll be able to interrupt his attacks quite a bit, help whittle down his health, stop him just completely, you know, rolling over me, as it were. And the idea of this is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We want to try and bring down the health pool on the characters and kill them all at once if possible. So we want to try and isolate Cara Dune. That will stop her taunting. It'll also stop her making sure she can revive when she's got that potency up, because she won't be able to gain those buffs. So it's just about being patient here. We want to try and spread the damage around the team. To bring because Cara Dune is isolated, she's not going to be attacking out of turn, which means she's not going to be losing that max health, whereas the other characters in this team will be. So we have to focus the attacks on Cara Dune, while Kyle Katarn and the rest of the team basically just kill themselves. So I'm just trying to get them all down about equal, do the big hit on those with pain to get the extra protection recovery, do the extra damage. And they're all looking very low right now. Obviously, there's quite a bit of health steal and recovery in this team, so you kind of have to just hope for an all-stars aligned moment where Scion has got his AoE off cooldown. So they're all looking very, very low right now, which is lovely. It's where we want to be. Kyle Katarn recovered a little bit of health there. I'm taking a look. I'm like, maybe we can just kill them all off here. Not quite in time there, and they get a dodge. I'm like, ah, come on, really? Hopefully. There we go. Marauder cleans up for us. 52. Again, not great banners, but I care more about one tapping right now, because we know we've got a little bit of wiggle room. Now, I ummed and ahed for a long time about what to take up against the Shaak Ti clones team. In the end, I decided to go for a Kira, Nest, and Armorer setup here. The idea was to hopefully get the triple stack of Beskar armor on Nest and have her basically solo the team. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out because they just completely ignore Nest and just go full send on armor and kill her. So I'm a little bit upset about that, because I could have put the 2 stack of Beskar on her, but really I wanted that 3 stack. I'm still pretty confident that we can still win this battle without that triple stack of Beskar armor. I feel like it's still completely possible, completely doable, but it's a bit of a time slog. So if you guys have got a book that you want to read, or maybe, you know, want to catch up on your correspondence, you know, send a few texts, phone mom, she probably misses you. Now is probably the time to do it, because this is just a back and forth between Shaak Ti and the clones. There's a lot of recovery in this team. And obviously a lot of damage, but because of all the buffs that Shaak Ti is giving out, it does help ramp up the crit damage on our Nest quite well, and they don't quite have enough damage to actually kill her. Now, my Nest is not modded well. She's modded for tenacity, doesn't even have a whole lot of health or protection for that matter. So if I can do it with this team, then I'm sure most people can. Now, I think the idea here for me was to try and kill that ARC Trooper, but Shaak Ti will constantly stealth ARC Trooper and then heal up all the time. So I think in the end, I just got very frustrated and thought, maybe I should just kill Shaak Ti. You know, we just kill Shaak Ti, but she just keeps on recovering, keeps on gaining that health. I'm like, come on, Shaak Ti. Don't do me like that. Don't be that girl. I'm sure you want to die. Come on, Shaak Ti. Do I have an opportunity here? Can we kill Echo, maybe? Like, ooh, maybe we can kill Echo. Can I get a hit? Go on, Echo, die. Yeah, no more Echo. So now it's looking a bit easier. You know, there's less DPS on their side. I'm feeling maybe we're in a better position now. Maybe we can actually start getting somewhere. I just put it on auto because it doesn't really matter what I do. It should. Whoa, Arc over there nearly killed me, but we got a nice big chunky hit over there on Shaak Ti. And now it's just mano a mano, or mano a womano, Arc and Shaak Ti. And he just doesn't quite have the DPS to deal with us. So, winner, chicken dinner. 50 banners. Now, I want to see the Backwall, obviously, so we go in for the ultimate clear-up team against Starkiller. And that is the Spark of the Resistance, that is Rose Tico. So Rose Tico is coming in here with Veteran Chewie. The idea is just stuns, guys, more than anything. We're just going to try and keep Starkiller stun locked for most of it and slowly whittle away at his health. Does get a little bit hairy, but this is a, you know, R7 Starkiller going up against basically trash characters with trash mods. I'm just looking to kill him slowly. We get the double tap with Rose Tico there. She's really making a bid for leader of the resistance right now. Stun him. Nice. Stun him. Nice. And that's the end of Starkiller. Getting killed, not by Rose Tico, but I believe it's by Chewie. Booyah, Chewie with the kill shot. So, 31 banners on that one. Obviously, it was a double tap, but we still got a lot of our better teams, and now we get to see the back wall. So we can plan the rest of our attacks accordingly. So, I'm very happy to see the back wall had no GLs. We've got GL Nute, of course. We've got the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. We've got the TIE Fighter Pilot Omicron. He's got his own nest back there. That could be an issue for us. And what are we seeing right at the bottom there? It is a Crew, Hux, and Sith Trooper team. Okay, so things to think about, things to split my teams. There's a lot of things that were running through my head about how I'm going to deal with this. But I knew that the Qui-Gon Jinn team, I was going to take in Jedi Knight Revan with GMY and Jolie. When it goes well, it's very well. It goes very well. But when it goes wrong, it can be pretty nasty. The idea is to just focus down Anakin at the start. You really want to increase his cooldowns and stun him, ideally. And then, when you get the opportunity, you want to just kill Qui-Gon Jinn whilst Anakin is stunned. He has to be stunned, otherwise he's going to go in and wreak havoc with you. So I tried to reduce his TM, which we successfully managed to do, so that we can get this big hit off on Qui-Gon. Booyah! And Anakin was stunned, so he missed his bonus turn. Lovely jubbly. And now we can keep on attacking him, and so long as we can kill him before he takes a turn, we should be fine. There he goes. And then Mace is just missing all the time, obviously. So this was a pretty textbook counter, I would say. Yeah, watch out for that Mace's hit, because he's still got that bonus offense right now. So we just decided to try and heal up a little bit, recover those health banners at least. And so long as he doesn't hit us now, we are okay. Good stuff. 56 banners, we only lost one protection banner. I will take that all day and every day. So next up we are going up north to deal with the Lord Vader. Now this is a Lord Vader Maul Royal Guard setup, so I'm going in with Fennec, Bam and Grief. I don't know if you guys use this counter yourselves, but it's relatively reliable. Unless there's a health steal Datacron, you can pretty comfortably use this counter. The idea is that Bam is just going to interrupt Maul when he's on his frenzy setup, and you can just damage immunity your Fennec. Then the idea is to go full send on Maul and yeetus him out of the world. Next up, we've got to kill that Royal Guard. Once Royal Guard is down, we'll be happy. I do not use Whistling Birds in this counter unless it's down to just Lord Vader. I don't think it's worth losing out on potential damage immunity, because as soon as he kills Fennec, it is bad news. Let's just keep working on Royal Guard. Unfortunately, that defense up is proving to be a pain. Full send, let's go. Nearly there. Let's get the damage immunity out again, please. Do not want to lose these units. That damage immunity coming in absolute clutch there. And kill Royal Guard. And now it's just down to Lord Vader. So I think we go ahead and flip it on back and reverse it to get rid of all the dazes. and the dots. Lovely. And now I'm quite happy to go into Whistling Birds. So Fennec obviously does multiple hits, which is nice. It helps us build up a stack of Whistling Birds. I could have put the defense down, but I felt like the basic is probably a more beneficial attack to use here. He hits his ultimate, but I think we get Whistling Birds off and deal some decent damage and get the victory. 54 banners. I am happy with that result. So next up, I'm going to be taking on his GL Ray. Now, this Ray did have a Datacron and his R8, and I figured I'm not messing around with this. I'm going to take in JMK Cat and just gonna win, hopefully. So it does have the Retaliate bonus, but again, like I said, I don't feel like it really does that much. See, we did about 3,000 damage there to Wrecker. So, like, it's insignificant amount of damage, as far as I'm concerned anyway. So the idea was to just take out Resistance Hero Finn at the start, and then just go full send on Ray, and hope for the best, really. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and use Wrecker because we need a pre-taunt, and I don't feel like I need to take in someone like GK here, so we can save him for a potential counter down the line. Ray is about to ult right about now, but I want to try and hit my ult as well, so I didn't use the cooldown reset ability. There's no point me trying to yeet right now. So I think we go ahead and use the damage immunity right now. I want to try and keep everybody alive. So I think we use it on Cat to make sure she dies. We get the health and protection recovery over there on Wrecker anyway. And here comes the yeet, and we're still alive with everybody. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good at this point. We just need to try and deal with that Ray. So we go ahead and Shien over to JMK, and I'm just damage focusing straight on Ray right now. I know she's going to get another Whirlwind in a second, but I figured more important really for me to try and kill her as soon as possible than anything else. We do the yeet here to get the armor shred. She's getting into low health. We don't quite take her out before she gets that extra Whirlwind off. Could have saved some banners there if we'd have just done a little bit more damage, but ultimately the win is all that matters. I don't mess around here. I didn't need to do the yeet there. I just thought I'm not risking it. Ray in 3v3s is a nightmare. And obviously we do stupid amounts of damage then with JMK. Victory. We've still got some tough teams left here though. We've got GG, we've got BAM, and we've got Malgus with DR and Basti. So this was the big one. I had no idea what to expect going in to try and face this Malgus down with the triple Omicron with DR and Basti. I took in JML with Ayla and Ahsoka. And we've got the Ayla Datacron here for the bonus turns. Now, that was a waste. I don't know why I did that at the start. I probably should have just cooldown increased on DR. But yeah, this was incredibly difficult. I probably used possibly the least effective team at trying to do this. I was thinking that with the Ayla Datacron, even though DR cleanses stuns, we should still be able to get the bonus turns on Ayla when we use these bonus abilities, but it just didn't seem to really be working very often. I think it's mostly because we just weren't landing the stuns. But there we go. There we go. Yeah, that should have given us a bonus turn, but I think we were feared and that was counteracting it. So we got rid of Basti pretty quick, but then it's down to Darth Revan and Malgus. And this is where the problem really arose, because I can't coin over to Darth Revan, and whenever I cause a debuff on them, they're just recovering a crap load of stats. So because of all the shock as well, I'm not gaining any Jedi's lessons, so I'm also not gaining any ult. So I'm like, huh, what do we do? What do we do? So I figured I'd just keep on coining Malgus, but even on a basic, he's recovering more damage than I'm dealing. So I'm like, well, that's not really ideal, is it? And the shock is obviously stopping the Jedi lessons, so that means I'm not actually gaining any ult meter. We actually start gaining some bonus turns here. I'm like, oh, maybe I could just gain all the bonus turns on Ayla. We nearly kill Malgus there. We get him down quite a bit. I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then he just recovers all his health. I'm like, oh. Okay, so we'll start again. I'll do yeet. And they just recover all their health. I'm like, And this goes back and forth, guys, for quite some time, I will be honest. I just don't know. I just don't know. I obviously wasn't playing this match particularly well. I was learning the kit. I probably should have read the kit. But yeah, this was obviously not an ideal counter to try and use. It gets a little bit easier towards the end, but at this point, it's just not ideal. We've actually very nearly hit ultimate here, and I was hoping that the extra damage that we get from going into ult will be our savior, essentially. So I just need to get to a turn with JML right now. I notice here that I'm actually getting the stuns on DR. And here we go. We hit the ult, and I'm like, yay, finally, we got ult. We've changed our clothes into slightly darker colors. Maybe this will be enough. And Malgus is just tearing faces off right now. I figured I can't seem to kill DR, so I might as well just keep on going for Malgus and hope for the best. Increasing his cooldowns just gives him a bunch of debuffs, so he recovers a bunch of health. So maybe I shouldn't be doing that. I'll bop him, and that just heals him up. I'm like, my god, all of my moves are just healing them up. So I'm just going back and forth. I was obviously stressed at this point, guys, because I kind of needed this victory. I was very cognizant of the fact that because I didn't have... because I've only taken out Basti, if I lose this battle, then I still have to deal with Malgus's leadership, and he's going to recover all his health. I'm like, okay. So we got quite a few hits in there with Ayla. I was thinking, oh, this isn't too bad. Maybe I can actually kill DR, but then I realized, no, he's just recovering all his health anyway. And then I happened to use that on a person who is stunned. We did manage to kill DR there with the Efflux. I was like, oh my god, thankfully we did something. But we've only got a minute left on the timer now. And I'm pretty certain Malgus cannot be stunned, so I can't gain all the bonus turns with Ayla. And the Efflux on Malgus is just making him recover. So I'm like, oh my days. Okay, so maybe we have to just rely on coining. Fortunately, now that we've hit ultimate, we're able to keep him basically permanently ability blocked, and that seems to be a massive help to us. Even though he does recover quite a bit, it seems really to work much better than when we couldn't keep him ability blocked, because we are slowly killing him, even if Efflux is basically giving him health and protection again. 22 seconds left, 21 seconds left, 20 seconds left. It's coming down to the wire. But I do feel like we are slowly but surely making some progress here. He's nearly dead now. That mass ability block is just winning it for us. 8 seconds left on the clock. I was nervous, guys. I was very nervous. So I decided to finish clearing up north to try and see what he's got on fleet. So we're going to go ahead and take out the BAM, IG, and Queel setup. I've went in with Rex, Fives, and Thrawn. Thrawn is just there to fracture, really, so we can get around IG-11 a little bit easier. He's gone into Whistling Birds, but I'm feeling quite confident that he won't be able to mass up enough actual stacks of Whistling Birds to really do anything. So there we go, we only lost protection on Rex there, so I'm not that fussed. I decided to swap with Rex to recover the protection, but also gives us a faster second turn here. We want to try and get back round to a fracture on Thrawn as soon as possible, because IG-11 is a pain. So I decided not to yeet, I don't think, at this point. We just want to cleanse up. We get the extra fracture. For some reason, the video playback here is stuttering a bit. I do apologize there, guys. And we just yeet out Beskar Mando. With him gone, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I know that I can deal with the rest. I decided to actually taunt with Fives because I don't want to actually lose Rex if I don't have to. There's no reason for it, is there? So we might as well keep taunting if we can. And we can Rexolate over there. Lovely jubbly. And just a little bit of health to recover here on Rex now. Fives has nearly got full protection. I should have just basic there. That's my fault there. Yeah, I should have just basic the Thrawn there to recover the... just to get the stun. But then again, IG would have cleansed it anyway. So I can't see me being able to recover the protection on Rex, so I just decided to Rexecute. Get rid of that IG-11. And that's one more team down the drain. We've only got the GG team left to kill in that north section. And for GG, we decided to go in with the Wampa Omicron, which of course is the greatest Omicron of all crons. I love me some Wampa Cron action. It gets me up in the morning. It's my cup of coffee. It is my serendipity. It's my sanctuary. And beating GGs with it is fun. I would normally use this against something a bit better than a GG, but based on what I've used so far and what I need to use elsewhere down the south, I figured there was nothing else that I could really feasibly use against this GG that would guarantee me a one-tap. And that's what I really care about. Because if I... well, I'm not going to be able to clear fleet, so I want to make sure that I get at least some pretty decent banners with these one-taps. So just GG left now. Obviously, this is a no-brainer. It's quite an easy victory there. 58 banners, and we get to see his fleet. Now, I'm expecting Executor and maybe one other meta fleet, you know, Malevolence or Negotiator. We see the Negotiator there, so we're like, okay, Negotiator and Executor, except it's Negotiator and Malevolence. There is no exec, which means he took in his R9 exec and failed against my R8 exec. Could a victory be on the cards here, guys? It's looking pretty good for us right now. I will say that much because, yeah, if this guy, if we can potentially full clear, then we definitely get the victory. So I decided to go in and use Bad Batch, I think. Let's skip to when I actually do it. Apologies, it looks like we actually go over to the Phasma team. Now, this has got the First Order TIE Fighter pilot Omicron. I don't like to mess around with this, so I went in with Wedge with Han and Chewie. This is just to try and secure killing that TIE Fighter pilot. You just focus them down out the gate and, yeah, hope they don't take too many turns. So it's usually pretty straightforward. You obviously don't have quite as much DPS as you normally do, but as long as you get rid of the TIE pilot, the rest of it is plain sailing. So I tried to get the stun on the Fox, but of course he resisted. Kill the TIE Fighter pilot, and now there's nothing left to worry about now. It's easy sailing from here. 56 banners. Now we do decide to take on the First Order now. Now this is a crew lead with Hux and Sith Trooper. I decided to go in with the Bad Batch because I don't really have a use for them elsewhere. Obviously there's a lot of threats here. There's obviously the turn meter swap and the cleanse, and Sith Trooper obviously does a lot of damage. But I figured with the heal immunity that we get, we should be able to chew through crew. And so long as we can kill Sith Trooper, preferably first, we should be absolutely fine. Nearly kill him there, but all that health steal, unfortunately, is just causing us issues. So, boop, let's keep working on him. He's stunned with my Echo, and I'm like, uh-oh, don't let my Echo die. Please don't let my Echo die. He is a vulnerable target right now. Oh, my days. Stealth, everybody. And that actually recovered quite a bit of health and protection, so that was an ideal moment to use that ability. We're just going to keep focusing on Sith Trooper, pass the turn over to Echo, and we want to go for the double tap if possible. Oh no, oh, we've got the locked heal immunity in days. That's probably better. Let's kill Sith Trooper now. 1 tap, 2 tap, he's gone. Now, at this point, I know that it's in the bag. I'm like, yep, we should finish here with full banners. So nothing to worry about now. Got rid of Hux, and then it's just crew on his own, and he now has heal immunity, so he's nothing really to worry about. Kill him before he takes a turn. Boop. Lovely. Full banners, 57. So he does have GL Nute still to go. I decided to go in with my Imperial Troopers because I haven't had a use for them elsewhere just yet. This team can be nasty. Obviously, Nute's Extortion is deadly. Django starts with damage immunity and deals significant amount of damage. And that B1 stack has got, you know, so many stacks that it can deal some real damage. You can't really chew through them. But a team like Imperial Troopers takes so many hits. Dark just does multiple hits on his basic, so it's easy to chew through something like the B1 battle droid. Now, if it's a Nute lead, guys, you always want to be cleansing that Extortion. You don't want to let that guy be reducing your max speed too much. So now we just need to wait for Django to take one more turn. Unfortunately, that Nute is stealthed. We're kind of reliant on trying to get an AoE right now, and it's not quite enough. We nearly kill him, but, you know, R7 Nute be R7 Nute. So we just waste our time wailing on against a Django that's completely immune to damage. Django is probably wishing he had that ability when Mace found him in the Geonosis arena, but we can't all be winners, Django. There's the cooldown increase, and I'm like, right, let's just kill Nute. Get rid of him. Don't like him. Boop, boop. At this point, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I guarantee you that Django rockets my Veers. I guarantee you it happens. Because he's just that kind of guy. And of course he does. But now he's out of damage immunity, and Dark can have his wicked way with Django. He's going to go full mace on his ass. Let's go. Bam, bam. See ya. Yeah, 53. I don't care. I got the win. Alrighty, so I decided to go in against this Count Dooku Nest and Talon setup using a Boba lead with Mando and Zam. Now Zam does have her Omicron. I was a little concerned about the Nest, but I figured that the Zam would give me enough offensive chutzpah to try and deal with her, and if worst comes to worst, we'll always have the Disintegrate coming out of our boy Mando. So I needn't have worried though, because you just look at the damage coming out right now. We are sitting pretty sure Dooku is hiding, so we'll never actually get contract really, but doesn't matter. I think we do actually get contract eventually, but by that point it's basically useless. Either way, I just wanted to make sure we get the one-tap victory. Obviously with Talon being there, we do want to try and kill her before we deal with Dooku, because she'll just trigger her savior mechanic-esque thing, won't she? And that will just basically put us all the way back again, which is not where we want to be. So just dealing with this. I feel like my mic's a little bit high at the minute. Move this a little bit down. There we go. Julio. Alright, so Dooku's nearly dead. They've got rid of one of our lives on Mando, but it's fine, you know. Like, nothing really to worry about here, guys. This is a pretty straightforward battle for us, I feel. 52 banners. Easy. So that actually puts us within, what, about 153-ish banners, I want to say, of our opponent. You know, so we need some... Not even that much, is it? 140. Yeah, it's not much. It's not much. 134 banners to win, basically. So I want to really go for... My thought process here was to go for guaranteed victories. I'd rather go in and one-tap enemy fleets if it's giving me enough banners to cinch the win, rather than take on a risky fleet. So he's got Nego, Malev, and he's got Holdo. Holdo I'm pretty comfortable I could take Rebels, but it's where do I use my Malevolence? Now, Malevolence against Negotiator can and does work, but I do find it can be a little bit sketchy. And I was a bit concerned that if I take it in against the Negotiator and don't clear it, and cannot clear the fleet, I might lose on banners. So I've decided I'm actually going to save my Malevolence to do a Malevolence mirror match. But first of all, we're going to take on the Resistance with our Rebels. Now, I'm pretty confident that we can kill this Resistance fleet without having to use too many reinforcements, and that should be able to give us a couple of additional banners, Brucey bonus banners you might want to call them, just for not filling out those 2 empty slots at the end. Things can go wrong against a Resistance fleet, but usually that's down to unlucky evades or lack of assists coming out of Millennium Falcon. Now, I'm preparing to ride the RNG here, and hopefully it works out for me. So we're going into the battle here. My Home 1 fleet is not great. The Rebels are fine. Sorry, the Han and Chewie are fine. They're R7, but the Bistan's pilots are only gear 11. And I think Biggs is R3 as per the requirements for... well, there goes Millennium Falcon. I knew as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, this is in the bag. We got this. If I can also take out Poe as well. Booyah, no more Poe. Just Rose Tico over there flying her sister's ship, thinking, what could possibly go wrong? This isn't foreshadowing at all. Yeah, so unfortunately we didn't get the assist there from the Millennium Falcon. We could have ended it a little bit earlier. We roll it on out. Boop, boop. Nearly gone. I decided to recover. Hopefully we can recover some banners here. I felt like I really don't need to call a reinforcement just yet. I feel like we're absolutely fine here. Get the guaranteed assist right now. Oh, actually we didn't. If we'd have done the basic, we would have got a guaranteed assist. I guess I went for the additional defense pen. Not that we really need it against this Resistance pilot. There we go. Just keep on wiggling. Chewing through. I decided to come in with the Outrider now, just in the hopes of recovering just a little bit of lost health and protection there. I believe it's the second special that we used in the end. I was like, which one is it? Because I still don't know how to use the Outrider. I will be entirely honest, guys. So it's this special here. It gives us some 20% health and protection recovery. Doesn't quite recover us up to the point we need to, I don't think, but it gave us enough. 75 banners there, and now we are within sniffing chance of actually getting this victory. What do we need? 48... 48, 50, 59 banners to win. 59 banners to win. So, as I said, guys, I chose to go in with a Malev mirror match because I feel like it's a more reliable counter than going in up against Negotiator with Malevolence. All I need to do is one-tap this and not lose absolutely everything, and we should have plenty of banners to secure a victory here. So as long as it doesn't go too pear-shaped, we should be absolutely plain sailing. Go ahead and get the stun over there. Immediately start throwing the buzz droids down. He obviously gets the stun on mine. I'm like, okay, great. I don't mind him attacking my my buzz droids. Attacking my buzz droids is absolutely fine. Because in a Malevolence mirror match, what you really want to be able to do is make sure that they kill your vulture droids and you don't kill theirs. Because killing a vulture droid will feed TM to the capital ship, and that's precisely what we don't want to happen. You want to leave their vulture droids alive as long as possible. Unfortunately, his spy did come in and target my spy. Fortunately enough, I was able to cleanse it almost immediately. We do not want them trying to kill our spy, which is our main damage dealer. Alright, right now I'm feeling quite happy because he's not got Sunfac anymore. He's lost his hyena bomber and he's just lost his spy. So I know I just need to kill that one vulture droid. It's always important to make sure you remember which one was the starting vulture droid, guys. Do that and 67 banners, and that secures us the victory. Glorious, 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 glorious. Punching up again. We are up by 9 banners. But, you know, I figured while we're here, we might as well try and go for a full clear. So I'm deciding to take in my Hux here. Just going to throw in 3 trashy ships. The only reason I'm doing this is to burn cooldowns. I want to build cooldowns, and I want to see if Holdo and the Spark of the Resistance can pull off a miracle up against the Negotiator. So yeah, all I'm doing is hoping, get rid of that AoE daze. Can we also get rid of Anakin's AoE? We can, and oh, how fortunate, we also get rid of the AoE from the BTLB Y-Wing. That's like, kind of like a perfect scenario, isn't it? And we gained 1 extra banner. Yes. Should have been 2, but we gained 1. No, actually, it should have only been 1. Apologies. Now we'll go in with Holdo. I do have a 7-star SF-17. That's Star Fortress, but it's still trash. Well, it's not trash, it's just not very good. I decided to go in with a full contingent of support because why not? Why not? A bit of a stab in the dark, but I figured I might be able to get something done with this fleet. If nothing else, we might be able to kill 1 or 2 more ships and gain a few more banners. Not that we need it, we've already secured the victory. I cannot see this guy actually coming back and clearing my Negotiator now. He's probably all out of ships. So yeah, I think I just decided to get the extra TM here. Build that up just a little bit. I don't want to use my AoE just yet. I kind of want to burn through Anakin's unending loyalty before landing the big hits. Unfortunately, we didn't quite land it there. We need to do 1 extra attack on him. Boop. Unfortunately, that does lose us a bunch of our buffs, so it's kind of a bit of a waste, really. But there we go. But Anakin is looking relatively weak. I brought in the Resistance pilot. This is just to try and expedite getting to the ultimate. Because if we can get ultimate, then we definitely stand a chance of actually winning, right? If there's no capital ship, we go for the big hit. Obviously, we didn't have the buffs on the Millennium Falcon there to really do the damage, which is unfortunate. But at least we got him into a scary position. But then, of course, another unending loyalty. And now he's got buff immunity on my SF-17. And there's a lot of DPS coming out right now, so I'm a little concerned. I used the basic here just to gain foresight on Poe Dameron's ship. Because obviously the way the ultimate works is whenever you use a special ability, when you've got foresight, you decrease the cooldown on the capital ship by 1. So I want to try and have as much foresight as I possibly can. And there goes the SF-17, unfortunately. Just 87k whacking it out. And then, of course, he brings in Plo and recovers all the health and protection. I'm like, for God's sake. But then the Holdo maneuver kicks in. Goodbye, General Kenobi. And we do actually reinforce with a tank, which was actually quite useful. Now I have actually got a bit of a hope of actually getting a full clear here. And that would certainly spell doom to our opponent. So let's go ahead and get a big bop off here. Boop. Just need to kill off that last little bit of health on that ship. If we can at all. But no, I'd rather go for Anakin at this point. AoE should be able to do good damage now. Brap. Oh, yeah, baby. Now we are sitting pretty. A completely wasted special ability there. And that is Ladies and gentlemen, a full clear there against an opponent with, what was he, 9 million GP? Can't remember. Something like that. Sufficient amount of GP that he should have beaten us, that's for certain. So, ending result there I thought was pretty good. We dropped a battle, or... No, we dropped one battle, I want to say. No, two, obviously, because we sent in a burner fleet. But yeah, their Starkiller held us up one, but 1986 to 1710, take it. Thanks for joining, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Just giving a quick shout out to my patrons. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and without your support, I wouldn't be doing this today. Thanks so much.